Where will you meet this sutta today? Someone insults you, and they live in your mind rent-free. It happens on a Tuesday morning. The weekly meeting has just begun. You spend 20 minutes presenting an idea you've worked on for weeks. When you finish, the room is quiet. Then your colleague leans back in his chair. He smiles. Not a friendly smile. The kind that says he's about to enjoy this. He looks around the room and says, "I'm surprised you still think that works." A few people chuckle. Someone looks down at the table. Another quickly changes the subject. The meeting moves on. 10 seconds. That's all it took. By lunchtime, you're still hearing his voice. Not the whole meeting, just that sentence, just that smile, just that look on everyone's face. Your food has no taste. Someone asks if you're okay, you say, "I'm fine." But you're not. Driving home, the meeting begins again, except this time, you win. You think of the perfect reply. Everyone applauds. Your colleague sits there speechless. 5 minutes later, you replay it again. A different ending this time. This time, you humiliate him. Again and again. By evening, you've had more conversations with him in your imagination than you ever had in real life. Your wife asks, "Are you listening?" You weren't. Your daughter tells you something funny. You barely smile. The colleague isn't sitting at your dinner table, yet somehow he has stolen dinner from your family. At 2 o'clock in the morning, you wake up. Guess who's there? Not beside your bed. Inside your head, his face, his voice, his smile. The meeting is over, but your mind refuses to leave the room. The next morning, you arrive at work exhausted. You see him walking toward you. Your heart starts beating faster. He smiles. "Morning." Then he walks past you. That's it. No sarcasm, no attack, nothing. A few minutes later, you see him laughing with someone else, talking about football, completely relaxed, completely unaware that he has occupied your mind for the last 24 hours. Suddenly, a disturbing question appears. If he isn't hurting me now, who is? That question was asked over 2,500 years ago. The Buddha answered it with a simple image. Imagine being struck by an arrow. Of course it hurts. Anyone would feel pain. But now imagine, after the first arrow, you pick up another arrow and drive it into the same wound. Then another and another. The first arrow was unavoidable. The second one keeps coming from your own hand. But why? Why can't I stop replaying it? This is where another discourse gives the missing piece. The Buddha said anger doesn't grow because someone insulted you. It grows because the mind keeps returning to one thing, one image, one sentence, one expression, one moment, almost without permission. Your attention keeps circling back to it. Again, again, again. The Buddha called this grasping the sign of irritation. The mind locks onto the part of reality that feeds resentment. Not because anyone forces it to, because it keeps returning there, like throwing another log onto a fire. Every replay makes the anger feel fresh. Every imagined argument convinces you it's happening again. Every fantasy of revenge sharpens the wound. Yesterday's insult becomes today's suffering. Not because time stood still, but because attention did. Then something changes. You notice the replay beginning, for the 100th time. But this time, you don't follow it. You simply watch. Your chest feels tight, your stomach sinks. Heat rises into your face. You whisper to yourself, "This is hurt." Nothing more. No story, no courtroom, no revenge, just hurt. For the first time, you don't chase the movie playing inside your mind. You let it end. The strange thing is, the feeling begins changing all by itself. Without another replay, it weakens. Without another imagined argument, it loses its fuel. Without another log, the fire begins to die. Driving home that evening, you notice birds you never noticed yesterday, the sunset, children playing in a park, your favorite song comes on the radio. Yesterday, none of these existed. Not because they weren't there, but because your attention was trapped inside one moment. The colleague hasn't changed. The past hasn't changed. The insult hasn't changed. Only one thing has changed. Your mind is no longer building a home around a single painful moment. And perhaps this is what the Buddha meant by freedom. Not a world where no one insults you. Not a world where unpleasant feelings disappear. But a mind that no longer keeps yesterday alive. Because once you stop feeding the second arrow, the wound is finally allowed to heal. So today, someone may insult you. The first arrow may land. You cannot always stop that. But before you replay it for the 10th, the 50th, or the 100th time, pause and ask yourself one question. Who is holding the second arrow now?